Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited you could be here. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make money as a primary or secondary income stream with insurance. Yeah, this can be very lucrative. I mean, you're talking about lucrative in the sense of making six figures a year, even if you're maybe not doing this full time and working from home. But you have to have the right coach, the right expert to be able to make it happen. And to have this discussion with us today is that guy. His name is David Price. He's actually the CEO and founder of the Price Group, a leading insurance agency specializing in final expense life insurance. Now, entering the industry back in 2018, he became one of its fastest millionaires, achieving the milestone within 36 months. And by 2024, the Price Group surpassed $35 million in sales, helping over 30,000 families and enabling agents to consistently earn six-figure incomes through his proven system. Now, in October of 2024, David launched the Price Group IMO, expanding partnerships with two different carriers and offering agents enhanced tools, lead programs, and mentorship as well. And this move solidifies his commitment to building a scalable model that empowers agents to grow profitable businesses, all while serving their communities with integrity and support. Now, having grown up on government assistance, David built his success from the ground up through grit, vision, and purpose. Now a Forbes Business Council member, he shares insights on entrepreneurship and financial freedom across Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and more, mentoring aspiring agents ready to break free from the grind and build a business they own. Awesome. David, thanks for joining us today.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I hope my people didn't send you that big long introduction, man. I appreciate you for reading that so well.
No, I couldn't take anything out, man, because it highlights so many awesome things that you've done. But to be honest, you're the only guy I've ever met who like does what you do, that mentors people and helps them get into the insurance industry as primary or secondary, income streams working from home. So like what made you get into the industry to begin with?
It's an interesting question. When I was a kid, I remember two of my friends' fathers were both insurance agents, and I remember like I grew up like you said, pretty poor. Lived in a one bedroom house, with my mom and my sister, and most of my time in high school. And I'm not going to go through the whole story, but I've been homeless shelters, the whole deal. But their parents were insurance agents, and they lived pretty good. To me, they lived good. It was probably average middle class America. And I remember one of them told me that, if you get your insurance license, you could sell insurance for a while, and then you could play a lot of golf. Or you could really work hard and then make a real lot of money. And it just stuck with me. I was probably like 14 years old at the time. And I always thought you needed a 4-year degree to sell insurance. So to me, I didn't have a 4-year degree. It was off the table. And I tried some different businesses. I did every job probably I could possibly do. I worked as a plumber, electrician. I worked as a roofer. You name it, I've done everything. Worked offshore. And in my mid 30s, I'm like, man, I'm not living the life that I really wanted to live, that I thought I was going to live as a child. And, now's the time. Like, I'm in my mid 30s. Like, now's the time to make a decision and just go all in on it. And I was like, I need to find a business that's scalable, that would let me live wherever I want. And at the time, I was living in Louisiana, and I grew up in the New Jersey shore, and I'm used to living by the beach. And I was away from the beach for like 7 years. I was like, dude, I got to get to Florida. I got to get be by a beach. Like, I just got to reinvent myself. And I'm just looking at different business opportunities. I'm talking to my one buddy, his friend or his family's very successful, a lot of like nice Italian restaurants. Like everyone in his family owns a business. And he's like, man, he's like, you should talk to so and so. He's doing really well with insurance. I was like, insurance? Really? And I found out, like in Florida, right? You're in Tampa. I was in Florida at the time, or getting ready to move to Florida. You need a 40-hour class, like online 40-hour class. Most other states, it's only a 20-hour course, and you get your insurance license. I was like, are you kidding me? A 40-hour online course, get some fingerprints, do a background check, and I get licensed with the state to sell insurance, and I can make six figures working my own schedule, and that's it. And they're like, yeah. So I was like, I'm all in. And that's it. That was 2018. Got my insurance license. Didn't know what the heck I was doing, and just knew I had to work really hard and really fast to figure it out.
So what was the biggest challenge? What were the biggest hurdles that you faced at that time?
So I always felt like I was good at sales. I always thought I was a good people person, and this is a common thing I think I see. Selling insurance, it's a skill, right? You're selling something that the person's not typically going to use, right? Usually, it doesn't get used until after the press away. And, I figured they had leads, they had people that were filling out postcards and mailing them in saying they're interested in insurance. I'm like, dude, if they're doing that, I'm closing 100% of them. And in my head, I'm thinking that that's simple, right? But I think just like everything else in life, like we think something's one way and we're just so far off. And the problem is a lot of times people like they marry that idea. So for me, it's like I had to unmarry that idea of like what I thought success would look like and like just go through the process and like be coachable and just understand like there's a system. You get leads, you do presentations, you make contacts, and there's certain numbers you want to hit every single day. So just really understanding to like focus on that part and like not worry about the results, right? Because a lot of times people are so worried about the results. And then if you worry about those parts and you start getting good, then the results come. So my first 6 months in the business, I got my license in May. I only made like 30 grand. And that was working a lot. But that was just, trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to do things my way. Looking at different things, like not being fully committed. And once I fully committed that first full year, I made over, and the following year, I ended up making over $200,000. And it was just, it really, the only thing that changed was just my mindset in there. I mean, I was still going out, still going through it, but I was just going through everything in a different way.
So you hit millionaire status 36 months in. You made 30,000 the first 6 months in. What else besides mindset? I mean, what did you do to make that shift to make such a significant increase and find such significant success in a short period of time?
Yeah, so it was, it's interesting because when someone says, a number like, hey, I made $1 million in 36 months, I think the logical thing is we're like, all right, cool. He made like $333,000 a year, basically, right? 36 months is 3 years, but it was 30,000 that first year. That second year, it was like 225,000. The next year is 500, and the next year it was over seven, right? So it was just a gradual thing, and that's the beautiful thing about insurance. It starts compounding, right? If you're working with the right company and the right people that are paying you the way you can be paid with insurance, not everyone's paid the same. But the opportunities are out there, and I provide them to people every single day. Is typically you get advanced on that policy once you make that first sale. After that insurance policy is on the book for a year, you get what's called a renewal. So you start getting paid on that. Also, the advance that you get is typically going to be anywhere from a 60%, 50% advance to 75% advance, and that's advance based off of the annual premium that the client's paying for that whole year. So they don't just pay you on that first payment, they pay you as if that client already paid for the year. That's what the commission is based off of. So once you get past that advanced part, there's that 9 month, 10 month, 11 month, and 12 month. Every time those clients pay on that block of business, you get paid again. So the stuff just starts compounding. And then, if you want to build an agency, you start hiring agents, you get what's called an override. So I always looked at it like it was literally a franchise opportunity, but without all the franchising fees. Like it's like McDonald's. Like, I'm helping people build businesses. I get a percent. They make the lion's share. I give them all the tools they need to be successful. I give them the systems, the coaching, whatever it is that they need. So you start doing that, and then over time, I mean, I was building a house in Cape Coral. You said you're in Tampa, and I remember I had to get verified for my, with the tax, with for the loan, I had to get verified through everything, and the it took so long to build the house that 6 months passed that I had to do it all over again, and in 6 months, my income doubled from $20,000 a month to $40,000 a month. And really like just doing the same things is just the compound effect of insurance if you don't let off the gas.
So I have friends that own insurance companies and they go and find a full-time person and that full-time person works till they're exhausted and then hire somebody else. I've never heard anything like what you do, but you tell me like what makes your model so much different with who you're hiring, how you're training them. I mean, than like a normal insurance company.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things. I mean, there's big franchise brands like State Farm, and with them, it's typically you own the franchise building, you don't own the clients, right? So it's very restrictive. Typically the bigger the name, like New York Life's another company, right? Huge name, everyone knows New York Life. They don't have to pay you that much, right? Because they're a huge name. They're going to attract people regardless because they're New York Life, right? State Farm, they're going to attract people, so they don't have to pay you that much. But when you're working independent, so what I do is I work with all the top rated carriers. So instead of just pairing up with one carrier, these carriers are fighting for my business. So they're giving me top commissions that I could give to people. So typically my agents are getting over 100% commission. Where a typical sales job, you're getting 10 to 20% commission. The reason they could do that because an insurance policy, the commission's based off that first year. And obviously, an insurance policy is going to last, 5, 10, 20 years, the life of the person. So it's a lot longer. So the commissions are going to be higher there. You own your client, or you own that book of business. So now you're going to get renewals on that. I know we're getting some into more complicated things, and then and honestly, that's the biggest difference because a lot of times when someone does sell insurance, they don't know who they're going to sell insurance to. It's like, hey, go find people, right? For me, we run personalized Facebook ad campaigns, so we're sending leads to you real time, and these leads are some of them are calling you, like, hey, I saw your ad and I got your phone number, and I'm interested in insurance, and you're giving them a quote. Um, or you also have to make dials and dial some people. Not everyone's going to call you, but that's it. So you're sitting home. We actually have a Zoom virtual office, similar to this, except for you will have about 60 people on. And again, it's single moms. It's every person that's done everything single thing. The people most successful had no sales experience. So that's it. So we're giving people to talk to. So they're literally talking to people looking for insurance every single day. The average commission is probably about $700-800 per sale. And then I have agents that make, 1 to 4 sales a day on average, right? So do the math. And that's the advanced commission. Then you have some of the back end money.
So can somebody really make six figures even if they have like little to no sales experience?
Yeah, if I look at my team and I break it down, majority of my six-figure earners had no sales experience. I mean, we're talking servers, stay-at-home moms like one of them, she never really even had a job before. Another one worked at Johnson and Murphy in the mall. She was a retail worker. So yeah, it's typically going to be somebody that's a people person, likes talking to people, like just talking on the phone is a great one, and just cares about people. Because at the end of the day, it's like kind of you're talking to your parents or you're talking to your grandmother, and they're interested in insurance, and you just ask them the right questions and kind of finding out what's the best product for them, making sure you're asking about their health conditions so you could find something. The software does everything for you, but it's just a regular conversation. And what I notice is the people that just have regular conversations, they're the ones that do the best. I'm not into, that high sales boiler room tactic thing and stuff like that. We don't really want that in our organization. We want people that want to help people.
So how you mentioned a little bit about the Zoom room, but what does a typical day look like for one of your agents?
Yeah, so you can work as little or as much as you want, and it just really depends on you and what your goals are. But a typical full-time agent that wants to make six figures or catch up on life or whatever, we have a kickoff meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Jump on there, we go over some wins, make sure everyone's got everything they need. Finish that meeting about 9:30, and that's it. By that time, my lead teams, marketing team, setting up the lead campaigns, leads are rolling in, and you just see a bunch of people on Zoom, and just on the phone. And what's really cool is if you're a brand new agent just getting started and you're like, have a problem, you just unmute yourself. Hey, so and so is this, or hey, this app's not working, or hey, I can't figure this out, or hey, what do I press? And some like, oh, share your screen. So everyone's like always wants to help each other, and that's it. You're talking on the phone until you might have a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day. You go to the doctor's appointment. You don't have to tell anyone. You might have to pick up your kid up from school. You might have to go coach soccer, and then you want to come back and make a little bit of money. You can. If you want to end your day, you can. So it's total freedom, which is great for some people. And some people do need structure. They need to be told what to do for sure. I definitely see that. But the go-getters, the ones that like working, the ones that understand and want to build something for their family and stuff like that, they typically do really well.
So, David, how do you keep them motivated in the beginning? I'm curious because every sales job I've ever been part of, like it's hard in the beginning. Well, even you described for your first year, it's hard to get that momentum to start making money. So, what do you do? Like, what kind of things do you do in the beginning, especially to be able to motivate the team?
Yeah, so I mean, the other thing is like 2018 was a long time ago, and the system we have now versus there is completely different. So we're definitely having lot better success rate of people. So we don't have people that worked as much as I did and made as little as I do anymore. But yes, sales is hard and it's a big mental game. And I just really get them dialed into what matters. So if you're a brand new agent, I'm going to say, listen, your goal today is to get 5 presentations. Like, don't worry about what happens. I need you to work on 5 presentations. And the way you're going to get 5 presentations is you're going to dial the phone 200 times. Now, in the beginning, you might dial that phone 200 times every day to get your 5 presentations, but eventually you're going to get really good. And when you get people on the phone, you're going to keep them on the phone and you're going to help them and you're going to solve their problems and get them an insurance policy. And that's going to take up most of your day. So you might get 5 presentations with 50 dials. But in the beginning, that's not going to work for everyone. Some people can. So it's just really focused on the same thing. So it's like, hey, listen, how about this? You dial the phone 200 times a day and you could do that every single day consistently, work on getting your 5 presentations, and that's what leads into building the skill, because that's what it comes down to. Like, it's a skill of earning money. And it's, if you earned whatever your top income that you've earned in your life, like, you have the skill to earn that. So it's me trying to help you build the skills to get to that next level income. And that's just, learning the activity that you need to be successful. And then once you get them on the phone, what to say, how to help them, how to deal with objections, because, people just naturally have objections. So just learn how to deal with those things and again, help solve people's problems.
If somebody's coming to you, they're watching this and they say, "This sounds pretty good." What is the process with working with you? What do they have to do before they're ever even able to get on the phones to start making money?
Yeah, so we interview people just like anyone else. We have an interview process. If everything goes well in the interview, we have some different relationships with it's called a pre-licensing course. The state requires you finish a pre-licensing course, and that's the online course that I was telling you about. Most states, it's just a 20-hour course. Florida, it is a 40-hour course. I think one other state is like a 56-hour course. I think that's California. But anyway, it's online, it's self-paced. It's normally like a $200 course. I have different relationships. So I get you the course for $40. So you sign up for this course and hopefully you finish the course. And some states you have to get fingerprinted. Florida, again, a state where you have to get fingerprinted. Most states you actually don't. You do a background check, you apply for your license, and then you get licensed by the state to sell insurance. So you do have to be licensed by the state, but now you have this license. And to me, it's like a degree, right? Just costs a lot less to get it and was a lot easier. Once you have that, then what I do is I pair you up with a mentor. And this mentor is going to give you everything you need to be successful. So we're going to work on getting you contracted with all the top carriers like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, Aetna, right? Companies you guys know, everyone knows. When you're on the phone with people, they know these companies. We get you contract with them so you could sell their products. And then we plug you into our virtual call center. You get to watch people. You get to learn, ask questions, and like I said, we're a family. We're always working together, trying to help each other. And ultimately, like, you got to remember, you're brand new, and everyone else was brand new at one point too, right? So we understand that, we respect that. We're gonna help get you to that next level. The only thing you got to do is just show up, be coachable, have a positive attitude, and a good work ethic, and the rest will really guide you through the process.
You talked about community culture. I've never heard anything like the Zoom room that you described. How important do you think that community and culture you're building is to everybody's success overall?
Yeah, I hear a lot of times people say with companies, I like the culture, I like the culture. So we definitely hear that a lot with ours, but we've hired new people that worked in other insurance opportunities. And they would just come over and just be in our room and just see the energy and see everyone willing to help everyone. See, typically in sales, it's cutthroat, right? No one wants to help anyone unless they're getting paid for it. And we completely eliminated that where we're at. So anyone will help anyone. They don't need to make money off that. Like, it's everyone wants to help someone. So I think the Zoom is really what helped me get things to the next level. I mean, I was a certain size before. We were probably doing $400,000 a month in production. We'll do $1 million a month. This month we'll do $1 million in production. And I think the Zoom is definitely, I mean, I hear agents say it all the time. Like, they don't like not being on there. They jump on there on Saturdays. They jump on there on Sundays. It's just it's a place to go. Like, if you're at your home, you're not doing anything. It's like I could watch some TV or I could jump on Zoom with my virtual Zoom friends and make some money, right? It's a no-brainer. So yeah, I think it's huge. It's been a huge benefit. We weren't doing it before COVID, right? So COVID was kind of what had us pivot to that, and it's been amazing.
So what is that like then? I mean, let's say there's two ways to get leads. Some of the leads you're being provided. So if when I log into that Zoom room, am I then in the queue per se to get leads as long as I'm in that Zoom room?
No, so the leads are separate. You have to order the leads. So we have a marketing company campaign. We sell the leads basically right around cost, maybe a little bit to cover the overhead. Actually, last 2 months is we sold them for below what they cost. So we lost a bit of money, lost a little bit of money on the leads, but that's okay. So you just fill out a form. You order 10 leads to 100 leads. Is up to you. We try to deliver 10 to 20 per day, and we want to deliver them to you real time. So we there's a lot of different lead programs in the industry, and right now I don't think there's anyone that will argue we have the best lead program. And it has to do with, again, with me willing to take the loss on the leads, because to me it's about selling the insurance versus trying to make money on leads. So that's it. So you're getting like a highly qualified client. You're getting their name, their address, their phone number. You're getting who their beneficiary is going to be. So they put who they want their beneficiary, and the coverage amount they want. They put the coverage amount they want. So you're getting all this personal information from them. They filled out this entire form, and then they get a chance to actually call you. We send them your number directly. So a lot of times they might just call you. So your phone just rings. One of the complaints that we hear all the time, which is blows my mind as to actually a complaint, is, man, I was on the phone selling one. I had three other people trying to call me to buy insurance. I'm like, listen, if that's the worst thing going on in your business right now, like I don't want to hear it. That's I'm not fixing that problem. I promise you, that's staying exactly like it is. So yeah, so it's just, you control everything. If you go on vacation, you don't have to worry about it. If you want to come on the Zoom and just watch because you're learning, you can. So really, that's the biggest thing. Is it's your business. You're set up to succeed. I mean, if you build it to a certain value, like it could be purchased at some point. There's private equity companies that buy this model all the time, as long as you get it big enough to where it's worth it for someone. So this is something that you would actually own. So that's what's cool too. So you're investing in leads, you're building a book of business, like you're building something that like has a value at some point. And I mean, there's really good examples. Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's huge. He sold his business for like 600 million, from my understanding. I think it was a little bit of a stock thing, but again, it's unlimited.
So, and then are your agents, she said some of them are going out and getting their own leads on top of what they're getting from you.
Not like referrals, possibly. I've hired agents from all different companies, so a lot of times they will be working the leads they worked in the past. But once they work my leads, like they'll tell me like, "Hey, I was using so and so's leads," and like I'm like they just I don't care if they could work whoever's leads they want to work. It doesn't make a difference to me. But we do some things that make it a higher quality lead than anyone else out there, because anyone else that's selling leads are selling for profit. And the other thing, we're going to protect that data, right? So that if you get leads from me, like that lead's not getting resold. Like you don't have to worry about, because what happens a lot of times in the industry is you might sell an insurance policy, and then someone else might get that same lead. They call that same person and they get them to cancel that policy and sell another policy. So I wanted to protect that. And that's really the biggest reason I started a lead company, is to make sure I could protect my agents so they don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, you set up such a phenomenal system. I've never really heard anything like that before. And I love how you let people come and go, and the camaraderie, the community that you're building. I mean, the quality of leads you're generating. It's just like you've thought of every single thing they need to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I was always into business since I was a kid. Always thought about it. I had a construction company, and to me, if you could work construction and like run a company where you have employees and stuff like that, this is a piece of cake. We got a guy. He was a Italian restaurant owner. I told him the same thing. I was like, man, if you could run an Italian restaurant like in New York, like this is gonna be a piece of cake for you, like because you don't have to worry about. There's no overhead. Like this is my office, but there's also my home, right? I don't even have to pay for an office, and we'll probably do $10 million this year in business, right? And I don't really have any overhead. And someone else can literally duplicate and do exactly what I did, because I just started as an agent too, right? So like everyone has that possibility. So yeah, so it's just about going through everything and just really understanding what makes, what changes, what's moving the needle, and just focusing on that, and then just thinking as an agent all the time. And one of the biggest things I have is like, I'm not worried about like putting money in my pockets. I got to figure out how to put money in the agent's pocket. So like when I make decisions, it's about them versus me, and that obviously helping them does end up helping me even better. So it gave me a really good reputation. We got a strong tribe. People, people always tell me they'll do whatever they can to help me at any time. Because you go from making 20, $30,000 a year, to making $200,000 a year, or 70 grand a year to making $500,000 a year. I mean, you start getting really, really grateful. Things start changing.
What's one of the most transformational stories of one of the people that you've hired that kind of stands out in your mind?
Yeah, we got a lot of them when you say that. So I'm like, I got some names that pop in my mind. So one's probably one of my favorite stories. Her name's Dana, and she was working at Johnson and Murphy. She worked in Philadelphia, and then she worked in Miami. I think she was making between 60 and $70,000 a year, which normally would be pretty good, but not living in Miami and single mom. And she must have been tired. She messaged me on Facebook and she said, David, what is it that you're doing? And can I do it too? I was just kind of posting, I was selling insurance, right? So I was out there taking pictures with clients and selling insurance and stuff like that. That's back when I worked out in the field, we do everything on the phone now. And when she said that, I was like, okay, cool. I sent her the course information. She got her license, and she's probably the most timid, scared to talk to somebody person, like the worst person for sales. And at that time we're working out in the field, and she struggled. She struggled for probably 2 years. 2 years, like didn't make that great of money. Like her parents were telling her, listen, you need to quit, like having what's that called when everyone comes together, intervention. And like she would call me up, she's like, listen, my family says I should quit. I'm like, listen, they don't know what they're talking about, right? And I'd argue with her every single time. And the last time she called me, like I'm telling you, we're like 2 years in, and I was like, man, I was about to give in. I was like, wait, I have an idea. I need an assistant kind of, and I want somebody to learn how to sell on the phone. So let's do this. I'll pay for your leads. You work in this office, you call these leads, and we'll see if we could get somebody. I wanted like an example of someone selling on the phone because I knew working out in the field and going to houses was outdated, and I wanted someone to spearhead something new. And she's like, okay, I'll try this. So I was going to pay her salary to be my assistant, pay for leads, and she was working on the phone. The first day she made a sale on the phone, and she called me up. She's like, David, I made a sale on the phone. I was like, that's awesome. She's like, David, I don't want to be your assistant. I was like, good. I don't want you to be my assistant either. I want you to sell on the phone. And yeah, she makes close to $500,000 a year now.
That's so cool,
You
man.
know what I mean? And like, like no one's ever taken 2 years, right? Everyone else, I always say, like, right around the year is where you're going to see that magic. Typically, with our new system, we just launched in October. 6 months in, these agents are so fired up, so they're having success a lot faster. But she was, 2019, back when we did things a different way. Commission structures were different, leads were different. But what I love about her is she just refused to quit, and she just stayed coachable. And like I said, she's literally one of my top leaders because she knows like what it's like to suck, and she knows what it's like to be hard, so she can relate with anyone. And she could be like, yo, oh yeah, you're having problems, yeah, let me tell you what I went through. Because no one had to go through what she had to go through. That is the worst story. And then I have like the best story of like a stay-home mom that made $170,000 her first year, like laughing the whole way because it was so simple for her, like because she was such a people person. I used to listen to recordings of her talking to people in the house. And I'm like, do you know that person? She's like, nope, just met her because she's a caller, lovely baby, honey, like, and so again, it's a great, it's been a lot of fun.
A lot of people watching this that are interested in learning more, what's involved to get going. So if they are in that boat, where can they go? What should they do to be able to get more info?
Yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel, David Price Official. You can find me on Instagram, David Price Official. You can go to my website, tpglife.com. And I mean, really, if you search David Price Insurance, you'll find me on a bunch of podcasts. You'll see me with a ton of news articles and everything about me. You get a chance to do your research and find me. I'm not hard to find, I promise.
All right. Awesome. David, thanks for coming on with us today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, so if you're listening, watching this, the one thing that you want to do right now is go to tpglife.com. That's tpglife.com. If you go to tpglife.com, everything you need is there. David talked about the social channels, the bottom right of their website. You're able to find the social channels, but you're also able to learn more about the company. You'll be able to contact them. You're able to see more about their system and how the system he has built can help you successfully offer insurance. Maybe it's a primary or even a secondary position. So if you've ever been wanting to break into the insurance industry, which you should, because it's one of the most lucrative industries I've ever seen. I mean, literally, if I was not doing what I'm doing right now, a lot of people ask me, and I'm like, I would go and run an insurance company. Like, I still think that that's one of the best ways to be able to make money. And if you're interested at all, if you have an interest in jumping into insurance and experimenting, this is the easiest way I've ever seen to be able to get it done. David has a proven system that's helped a lot of people, even with no experience, go from where they were to hyper successful. We just talked about even just one of those stories. We could sit here for hours to talk about many more. So make sure you go to tpglife.com. That's tpglife.com. Make sure you subscribe on David's social channels, and then make sure you get in touch with them to be able to talk more about making money as a primary or secondary income in the insurance industry. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care and have a great day.